Evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's fantastic to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. We've got families in the room, and also we're joined by people who are online as well. So this is our second event for new families. We are so looking forward to welcoming you, whether you're 10 or 11 or a parent of a 10 or 11-year-old, to William Ellis in September. We are going to start though with Humphrey, who is going to give us an introduction to all things musical and the year 8. Welcome to this stage of the transition programme. It's great to have people who have joined us. For those people who've recently come in, I'm Izzy Jones, head teacher here at William Ellis, and you'll hear tonight from myself, Mr. Altmann, assistant head, who leads on transition, and also our mobs, who is going to speak on behalf of our Parents Association. So I'd like to thank them in advance for their time this evening, and also the support we have in making a live event possible. So at the start of September, you will be welcomed, boys, to William Ellis as a fully fledged student of the school for the first time. You will be coming from primary school to secondary school. The gates will open to you and the 130 other boys who are joining us in your year group. But that move from primary to secondary isn't a one-off event. It's a process that started as you began to go on tours of schools in evenings and open mornings, started to talk through those choices for your applications, perhaps at the start of year 6, in year 5, maybe even in year 4. For some families, that's a process that runs over many years because it's a very important choice, one that you want to consider carefully. We are very, very pleased and honoured that you chose us. Of course, we think that you made the right choice because we think that we're able to offer every student a first-class education and offering in the most holistic sense at William Ellis. And we are also hopeful that you think that you are in a good position in coming here in September. Offer day a couple of weeks ago and your first visit today are the next stage in that process, and it will continue into September as you adjust to the new secondary school environment. Mr. Altmann, who's head of transition, as I said, is going to talk through that process and some of the nuts and bolts of what happens as you join in the summer term and then also in the autumn. I also like to think of that transition to secondary school as a journey, or an adventure. It is, as I hope will appear on the screen in a second, a journey on a magic carpet through the gates of the school. Are we going to get our magic carpet? I hope so. It'll appear as if by magic. That carpet will carry you with your family's support from primary to secondary school as smoothly as possible. Why is that? Why do we think of it as a journey, something that isn't just a one-off event? Firstly, it's because transition to secondary school should be exciting. like a mysterious journey on a magic carpet, even if it's a little bit scary. Of course, you might feel anxious about it because it's something new, it's the unknown, it's a set of challenges that you haven't faced before. But I hope you're also getting to the point in year 6 where you feel ready for that next stage, that next step. You're now the oldest students in your school, most likely. You've been there for many, many years, and now is a time to move forward and into a bigger, wider, different world. It's exciting because there is so much to learn at secondary school. Your different subjects, different parts of the curriculum, some of which you'll never have studied before. There are new friends to make. You'll meet people from many different primary schools across Camden and beyond. And it's the opportunity for a fresh start with those new friends, with those new teachers, to have different routines, different approaches, to take the best of you from primary school and combine it with perhaps some new resolutions, some new goals, hopefully a new sense of confidence and aspiration. The journey of the transition, unlike a magic carpet, may not, unfortunately, lead to a box of jewels and gold. We're not promising that at the end of your first week or your first year or even after your GCSEs. But it is designed to guide you towards a healthy, happy and successful life. Because by the time you leave William Ellis, we hope when you're 18, you will be an adult. And that might feel very far away at the moment when you're 11. I'm sure it feels a very long way away if you're the parents of an 11-year-old. But you will be in our care until you enter your adult life. And therefore, you should expect that by the end of your time here, you're in a position where you can be a happy, healthy and successful adult. And that is the metaphorical, symbolic box of gold or jewels that is at the end of a successful transition. Transition at William Ellis, whilst having the structures of a standard process, should be something that, like a journey on a magic carpet, you experience as an individual. An interview where we get to know you as a person and your family, a visit to your primary school to see you in your current setting, and the activities that you take part in during summer school and beyond. That brings me on to, oh, there's our magic carpet there, bounce down the driveway. It's secondary school that you have joined. William Ellis is a school that nurtures successful students and good citizens through our strong relationship. That is our mission, our vision, our USP. It's reflected equally in how well we know our students, how well we understand their strengths and their needs, and the systems that we have in place to work in partnership with you and to offer that collective support, both from school and from family. All of this is underpinned by our attributes, our 5 R's: resilience, responsibility, respectfulness, reflection, and resourcefulness. Some of those systems have been strengthened this year. Some of them are about curriculum development, particularly in technology, our behaviour systems, our student leadership systems, and this half term work on assessment and praise and rewards. We are a school that is very proud of the things that we are developing, continuing to grow and strengthen despite our existence for now over 160 years. You should see those positive developments reflected in a recent Challenge Partners report. We had an external review in October. You can see that on our website. And I'm happy to answer any further questions that you have about those or any other aspects of the school at the end. One of the advantages of having a smaller session with families as a catch-up is that we're able to perhaps have a bit of a Q&A and discussion at the end in a way that we wouldn't have done in a bigger event. This evening is very much about the students and their experiences of the process, and we hope that when you leave this evening, you'll be excited and happy about the opportunities that you're going to get in the coming months. So on that note, I will hand over to Mr. Altmann, who I think is going to talk about some of the young men in this photo that has been somewhat persistently appearing as I've been speaking.
Actually, stop. I will talk about them in a minute. Hello, everyone, and I'll come over to the camera. Thank you. I just thought, hello, my name is Mr. Altmann, and I'm the head of transition and assistant head at William Ellis School, and I can just reiterate the welcome that you've had already from Ms. Jones. What I thought I would do, though, first of all, because we've got Humphrey here, who's just played the flute for you, and I thought we'd allow Humphrey to talk a little bit about his experience at, do you want to come up, Humphrey? Yeah, he actually wrote a speech. I'm just going to grab it from over here. Excuse the camera. But what I thought we'd do is we'd have a little conversation rather than him just read off the speech there. So I'm going to prompt myself with what he's written in here. So Humphrey, tell us about your experience of music at William Ellis. Tell us about the opportunities.
So I think what's really good about the opportunities you get at school, at William Ellis with the music, is that you get consistent classes every week, and these give you an opportunity to learn a variety of different genres, so there's jazz, blues, classical, and also a variety of instruments. So I learned piano, guitar.
Great. And can you tell me what you do at lunchtime?
At lunchtime, often I go into one of the band practice rooms, which we have quite a few. There's a couple downstairs, and I like practice with my friends, what I've been learning in these lessons or what I've learned here.
And can you tell me about the music clubs? So you mentioned a couple in here.
Yeah, so I'm part of Big Bands, which takes place today actually, where it's a jazz group, and I've learned how to improvise. I play flute for that as well. I found it slightly tricky at the start, a bit challenging, because with improvisation, you don't really know what you're playing. But I got it in the end, and so yeah, it's very fun.
Great. And can you tell us about any performances that you've had here at William Ellis or elsewhere?
Well, so there was the winter concert, which I took part in with the big bands, where we improvised on stage, which was a bit scary, I guess. And then I also took part in that concert as playing music accompanying the drama which was performed, because I'm part of the drama club, which I guess it doesn't sound like it involves music, but me and a couple of my friends play alongside with the drama group. I've done that with them for the Shakespeare Schools Festival in December last year as well.
Great. And you mentioned other clubs in here as well in your sort of notes at the bottom. Can you talk about perhaps the, I'm not sure you're part of the choir now, but were you in year 7?
Yeah, so in year 7 I was part of the choir, which is a great opportunity to like learn a bunch of songs, and they're quite varied. It's not all just like classical or whatever. There's pop, there's some, I think that was rap at one point. It's quite fun. And yeah, that's led by Mr. Singleton. Yeah.
And what about your future thoughts on music? I know you're only in year 8, but it's...
yeah, I'm only in year 8, but I definitely would like to study music GCSE at school. I'm looking forward to it actually, and perhaps even A level. I would aspire to be a musician or something of the sort. And so yeah.
Excellent. And can I just say that that Humphrey, when I asked him to last week or 2 weeks ago when he played for the larger event, he played the piano, which is what you're more confident in. Is that right? And I said, but we're not going to have a piano because we're going to be up here in the drama studio. I said, do you play any other instruments? Yeah, I play the flute, but I'm not so confident. But I think that was a pretty confident performance, and I think that showed a lot of resilience. 1 about 5 hours. So thanks again, Humphrey. So hopefully the screen will come up again, and I'll talk to you a little bit about what I'm going to talk through today. But first of all, I'm going to zip through these photos because I know they move independently. Yeah, great, thank you. Thanks very much, Humphrey. So these images are from a couple of weeks ago, okay, sort of hot off the press, if you like. This is an image of boys in year 10 and in year 7, and what they're doing is they are selling cakes. It's a Wes cake event. It's called the Wes Bake Off, where boys are encouraged to make their own creations, their own cakes, and then sell them for charity, and get some earn some money for charity. And I suppose what the reason I love these images is because it sort of encapsulates the house system, if you like. You've got the year 7 boys working along the year 10, but the year 10 boys, and they are all in the same house. So I think these boys, I think Aaron's in Pete's, so I think they're all in the same house there. And what they're doing, as I say, is this cake, this Wes Bake Off. Again, there's the head of PE looking very, very happy about some of his crispy cakes there. But again, these are now year 10s and year 8 boys working alongside each other. You know, just getting working together with such a fantastic event. There's some more pictures. And this event is something that I find dear to my heart, let's say. It's been going on now since I've been here, which is quite a long time. It's the volcano building event, and there's the year 7s create some volcanoes and we explode them outside. They're exceedingly messy, hence the reason we're outside in the quad there. It's been a bit of a nippy afternoon, but as you can see, the boys, it's a part of a competition. They all create, again, you can see the letters here that are all about the you know, creating these volcanoes as part of a competition for their houses. So what are we going to talk about today? I'll talk about the interviews, I'll talk about the homeschool communication, primary school visits, induction day and evening, summer school, the uniform, extracurricular and the meal. And I know that there've been a couple of questions from parents as well that we'll try and answer towards the end. Okay. So we'll start with the interview, or the meeting, if you like. If interview sounds a bit scary, it shouldn't be, because it's just our first chance to meet with you boys and parents as well. It's your first step to becoming an Elysian. Any boy in the room like to tell me what they think an Elysian might be? Blue is in the word Ellis. So if you once you've stepped through, foot through the door and you've accepted your place here, you become an Elysian. Which is quite prestigious, I might say. And also, I met Elysians who are now octogenarians, who still come back to the school. An octogenarian being a gentleman in his 80s, came back to the school. They came back recently, actually, just to see the old school and what fun times they had here. And hopefully, that's what we expect you to be having, not just fun, but also progress and happiness as well. So the first step in an important relationship between school and home, and an opportunity for you, the family, to meet a member of the Wes team. That might be me, that might be another member of SLT, that might be another member of staff. You should have already received communication about the dates for that, but if not, the dates will come up. And of course, a chance to try on the uniform. So your meeting time will be in, it should say May actually, because the interviews are held on the 10th May and the 13th May. Most of them will be on the 13th actually, which is on a Saturday, and they are, you know, set on that Saturdays to avoid any disruption to your schooling. So that homeschool link, that's something that we're really, really proud of here at William Ellis. Our relationships with families. We're a small school, and so we are really able to create a sort of family environment, if you like. And that homeschool link between you, the student, and the school is so key. We'll be in regular contact over the next few months, and you'll receive a link to an admissions form. Hopefully some of you, if you haven't already, you've received that, and you should be filling that in on Applica. You'll receive some activity packs from several subjects over the summer term, and we'll send a transition booklet to you as well. Obviously, we're looking forward to those strong relationships that we build up over the years. Primary visits and the year 7 mentors. So boys, I was talking to a boy earlier today, Kingsley, wasn't it? Yes, that I said, he said it's from Gospel Oak. I said, all right, we're going to Gospel Oak in June, because we visit all the primary schools and we make sure we visit all you boys. Really the visits for you, but also we talk to your primary school teachers as well. And you may get a visit from some of our year 7 mentors, and they're boys who are trained up to become mentors and go into our primary schools and deliver some fantastic workshops. Actually, they don't visit every primary school, but they do visit as many as possible. You know, as I said in the opening event, the primary school visits are key, aren't they? That they're so important. Even if your boy's on his own coming from a primary school, we will endeavour to meet him as well. So that sort of covers what I've just said. Anything else that I need to mention there? Yeah, in the year seven, when they come into year 7, our aspiration is for all year 7s to have access to a mentor once they start at William Ellis, and that's a mentor from an older year group. Induction day and evening. We will hold that on the 5th of July. This again should be Pan Camden. If some of you are from Islington, it may clash with something, but you need to let us know about that. But in essence, all primary schools in Camden are aware of that date. So we'll invite you in for a full school day at William Ellis. And you take part, taste the lessons, boys, and you've got the opportunity to meet the other boys in your form and your form tutor. I put a little asterisk next to that because it might not be your form tutor, because sometimes the form tutors are new members of staff who haven't yet joined the school. But actually, on I think of last year, we invited one of the tutors in from their school. Their school was able to release them. So it's really important, and we're unique in that way that we create forms on induction day, and you get to meet the tutor as well. And parents will be invited in on induction evening. The summer school. If you haven't yet signed up on that application form, please do so. You should have the chance to sign up for that pretty soon. The dates are, just before I get onto the dates, there's a quotation from a parent. What is the summer school all about? It's really about, you know, your boys getting to know the building, getting to know the other boys in the year group, not just in his form, and getting to know the teachers, because all the activities are run by members of staff of William Ellis. As this parent said, you know, it took the fear out of not knowing anyone. This was a boy who came on his own from a primary school a couple of years ago, and I think it really sums it up well. And again, it's just about having a fantastic time, boys. So if you are able to come to summer school, please do so. All right. Hopefully it won't clash with your summer holidays. It's at the end of the summer, from the 29th of August to the 1st of September. It's only 4 days this year because the Monday is bank holiday. But you're all invited to attend. So please, please, please do sign up for that. It's such a great opportunity. The uniform, there have been a couple of questions about uniform. We are a uniform school. We're really proud of that. Our boys are proud to wear their uniform. Nice to see it brilliantly worn over there with the golden tree and our motto, etc., etc. So please do try your uniform on when you come in on those days. It's a pretty straightforward process. I won't talk too much about it now because actually we talk about it in more detail when you come for your interview. Extracurricular, I'll talk to you a little bit about, we've already talked about music, haven't we, the extracurricular, and I'll share some slides that the head of music has shared with me. But our extracurricular provision is, you know, something that is so important wherever you're, you know, wherever a student goes to school. I think extracurricular is what then creates those successful students and citizens and builds those strong relationships. So, you know, Humphrey was alluding to the fact that he did with a few friends in his music extracurricular, and, you know, all of those William Ellis attributes, if you like, being responsible, respectful, resourceful, reflective, resilient, all come not only from in the classroom, and as you can see in the classroom here, for example, we have the posters and the praise for those students who are showing those attributes. But in addition, outside the classroom, in extracurricular activities, it's something that we really, really feel is so important in your boys' development. When you come for the interview, you'll sign an agreement that might look a little bit like that. It probably changed slightly, but it will be something that we do ask the boys to sign. It's one of those moments, you know, where you become that Elysian as you sign on the bottom. I wasn't expecting you to read that, so I've expanded it for you. There's just one bullet point that I've been talking about extracurricular. And, you know, this is something we really, really do encourage you to sign up for. And the student is making a positive contribution. Of course, he's making a positive contribution in the classroom. But in addition to that, the more he can get involved in, the more he wants to be in school, the better. And there's a list of lots of what we do. Again, Humphrey alluded to some of the extracurricular provision, the rapping and DJing. But if you look at Mandarin or if you look at robotics, it's quite an eclectic mix of extracurricular that we do provide. And a lot of that will be available during the summer school as well. I'm going to zip through the music slides, although I would say that music provision at William Ellis is fantastic. The opportunities of one-to-one teaching, one-to-one learning, I should say, of an instrument, the concerts that we're building up since, you know, a lot of our concerts we had to collapse because of COVID, and now we're building that portfolio up again of concerts and of extracurricular clubs. It really is a fantastic opportunity. If your boy doesn't play an instrument yet, get him into, I don't know, singing, into DJing, into whatever, and any instrument. Really, it's a really welcoming department. And as Humphrey said, the boys are encouraged just underneath here. There are lots of practice rooms. There are about 4 or 5 practice rooms, and then we've got the music tech room as well that the boys can join in. So it's something for everybody, really. That's just showing you on the website how you can find the extracurricular music. And I would strongly, as Mr. Singleton says, advise signing up for musical instrument lessons in the summer term in advance of September to ensure that you've got the opportunity. This is a picture from, that boy's in year 13 now, so I'm thinking that must have been the 2020 event at the Royal Albert Hall. You might, some of you boys may have already performed at the Royal Albert Hall and part of your primary school choir, but we obviously performed there as well as part of our choir, but also in local organisations as well. I think that's up at St Anne's Church. PE and sport at William Ellis. Now, I was hoping that there would be another boy, Alexander, here to talk about sport. Unfortunately, he had a dentist appointment that he had to attend today, but I will talk on his behalf and on the head of PE's behalf. PE, again, there's a real vibrance about PE now. In fact, I've got hot off the press news. Our boys are at the top of the league, I believe, the Football Camden Schools League. So we are at the top of the league at William Ellis. Unfortunately, our year 8s lost against Ackland Burley 1-0 today. But one of the boys did say to me as he was walking in just now, just before I came up here, yeah, but it was a brilliant goal, sir. So that shows a bit of respect for the other side, doesn't it? Yeah, so we really do have such a vibrant PE department, and it is, since our new head of department came in 2020, absolutely fantastic. A wide variety of sports. You'll get the chance to do lots of those during the summer school as well, boys, so please, I'll keep plugging summer school. And of course, our outdoor education, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, is part of something that we part of our curriculum, which is not again, I would say we're unique. I'm not sure we're absolutely unique in Camden, but our outdoor education part of it is absolutely unique, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Sports clubs, pretty much every day of the week. Facilities, of course, we have the gym, but we also have Hampstead Heath, which is a fantastic facility, of course. And the PE kit, I won't talk too much about that because you'll get to ask questions about that in the interview in May. Some school trips. In a week and a half, we're going to Italy. And it's quite hot in Italy at the moment, so we're hoping there's going to be snow, although I have heard that 10 centimetres is going to arrive on Sunday, so I'm keen on that. But other than that, we've got lots of fixtures and lots of events that we do in the local area and also at the Mill, which is what I'm going to talk about now. The Mill, which is our outdoor education site down in Surrey, and this is unique, this is exceptional, and this is something that we ask all students to be involved in. There is a clear sort of progression, if you like, over the years. It's not just about year 7, although year 7 is key. We'll take questions in a minute. All right, do you mind if I finish first? Is that all right? Thank you very much, but really keen to see some questions come up, so great stuff. Yeah, so it's a place that we invite all boys down to at the beginning of year 7. Ms. Jones took the decision to change it from the end of year 7 to the beginning of year 7 and split it in 2, bookend the year. And that's been a brilliant decision, because that provides the boys the opportunity early on in year 7 to build those strong relationships that we're so keen on building, not just with the boys together, peer on peer, but also with boys and the staff. Because obviously when they go down there, it's staffed by William Ellis staff, it's staffed by their tutors, it's staffed by their teachers. And again, brilliant opportunity to build those relationships. Another question coming, excellent, but not right now. Let me finish off and I'll take questions in a minute. So make sure you remember them, but really good to see some more lovely images. These boys are in year 7 now, so that's they're fairly recent photos from September last year, and some more. So, for example, that is on the mill site. In fact, I think all these pictures were taken on the mill site. The building that you saw is in the background there, but these are an assault course, and of course some den building as well. I was down there this year. They were pretty impressive dens, some of them. Dates, we'll confirm the dates when we next see you, actually, in those interviews. All year 7s. It's part of the curriculum. I talked about this being extracurricular, but actually there's a bit of a misnomer because this is part of the William Ellis curriculum. This is something that we ask all William Ellis boys to do, and it's not just in year 7. You know, year 7 in September, year 7 in June, July, but then on into year 8, into year 9, and hopefully encouraging as many boys to do the Duke of Edinburgh Award in year 10 and beyond. You don't know what the Duke of Edinburgh Award is. It's just a fantastic opportunity. It's an external provider that allows boys to get, it's not just about the certificate, it's about the experience and to build all those attributes that we hold so dear here. But it's a fantastic opportunity. So we look forward to meeting your sons. I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to ask Al Mobs to come up. Yeah, is that all right?
Absolutely fine. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Altmann. Hello, everybody in the room and online. There's the camera. Was anybody here 2 weeks ago? Put your hand up. Online, put your hand up. Can't see. Put your hand up anyway. If you like. My name's Al Mobs. I'm chair of the William Ellis School Parents Association, which is a fantastic organisation, and it's very exciting. As you can tell, I'm very excited about it. Well, I think everybody knows what a Parents Association does, but this one, by being a family here, you are automatically a member of the Parents Association. You don't have to do anything. What does that mean? It means you get to have a say in what we do, but also, most importantly, means you're a member of the most exclusive club in North London. Straight away, by being a family here. So how do you get involved? We're not a clandestine group. It's not behind closed doors. It's us, me, you, everybody in this room. Got parents helping with the biscuits over there. Have a biscuit. Please do help yourself. We even have the reception boy helping, Max's son, helping with the biscuits. He might give you some if you're very nice. So please do help yourself. How do you know what's going on? We send out regular emails. The WhatsApp groups are probably the most useful way to find out what's going on. So please do join. There's already a year 6 group started, about 20 people already finding out. But just in serious note, the being part of school life and as a parent being part of school life, it's quite different in secondary, and getting involved now is so important. It sends a very, very powerful message to our sons if we are involved in school. And from personal experience being in school, every time I come in, it's always makes me incredibly happy to be here and see what's going on, and relaxed as well. It's a very lovely environment. I'm just going to say now, it's not just for mums. This is a dad's thing as well. So please do get involved, and especially for you know, your sons. You may not say it, but you will be very, very proud of you. So this. On the WhatsApp groups, I just want to give you an example. This is sort of quite what's bubbling around at the moment. So Mr. Levitt's challenged me, a sports challenge, and the parents. He said teachers versus parents. I don't know if Mr. Altmann knows about this. We're cooking up a little something. Okay. Quite a lot of competition coming up. And also, Mr. Singleton, the head of music, has floated the idea of a choir, which will be launching next term, the community choir, which would be really fun. Lots of parents already getting stuck into that. So I don't want to keep you, but in conclusion, I just really wanted to say, so from a parent's perspective, this is, since I was in this position last year, in fact, looking round, it's a very special school. It's very kind. there was mention of bringing up good citizens. On one of the snow days last year, my son was coming into school and his grandfather lives quite close by, wanted to check he'd got into school, and so came in, and the boys worrying, but actually not my son, but actually his grandfather, sat him down, gave him a cup of coffee and made sure he was okay. So that for me is an example of a good citizen, unprompted. That's wonderful. So to leave you with two final thoughts, I asked my son Alfred in year 7 two things. For the people online, I spoke about this before, so I asked another question this time. But for the boys here, his advice was, or he just wanted to say, you will make friends very, very quickly. The best way he did that straight away was to do the summer school. He said it was really, really, really fun. So please do it 4 days, and it's just running every day. It wins Skittles. Well, what on Skittles actually, which he had to share with the family. He said also to say to the parents in the room and online, please do encourage your boys to join the extracurricular clubs. We've spoken a lot about it today already. It's one of the things that makes this school very special. There is a lot going on. His favourite is Comic Club. They do animations and drawing, but he also does trampolining. One of the things Westford raised money for last year or this year was an Olympic-sized trampoline. So he does that. He really enjoys that. Does fitness club. He's off with the choir to the Albert Hall in a month. He also does music tech with production. He's making tracks that sound a bit like to me, like the Prodigy. But he was at a thing in Camden. He bumped into the teacher here who does the rap club and DJing club, who heard the thing he was playing to his friend and said, "Oh, brilliant! You should bring it in. Let's get the rappers doing something over your beats." So these little links, or these extracurricular things, they're absolutely fantastic. The sport, he's not sportsman. He doesn't particularly. He's not that in sport. His music's his thing. But just to say, with Mr. Altmann was talking about football. The one you didn't say was that our under-12s are in the quarterfinals of the London Schools FA Cup.
Wow.
Which is massively impressive for the football fans amongst it. And so, but finally, from me as a parent, this is a wonderfully rich and diverse community, which is to be celebrated, really. We all have one thing in common. We want the best thing for our sons as parents. So I can, from one parent to another, I can just say that Alfred is getting stuck into everything at school. He's made loads of friends, and he's a happy boy. That's all I care about. So that's all from me. Please do help us out to some biscuits and some squash, or I'll eat more. Thank you very much.
To the other parents who have been supporting us this evening, thank you. It makes a great difference to have you here. Right, we had, I think, a question down the front and then a hand that shot back up again. So go on.
You know what we're going to do? I didn't see it said big one.
I hate to disappoint you, but you're not going to Italy this year. So that's for older boys who are in the school in a sign of ski trip. It's a trip that, of course, we didn't run in 2020, 2021, and 2020.
Yeah,
2022, we weren't able to plan it with enough notice, but we have brought it back. So you will be able to go in future years if that's something you'd be interested in. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. So the first trip you'll go on will be some of the visits out during summer school, when you might go out to Hampstead Heath, a few sort of things in the local area, and then year 7 camp, you'll be away for 2 nights at the start of September. So you've got lots of trips and visits coming up, and then you can sign up for the ski trip if you'd like to once you're in year 7. Okay, there was a question down the front.
Yeah, it was me. It wasn't necessarily a question. I just wanted to say, you know how you said you guys done the mill. I remember doing the mill. It was really fun because we've done like lots of different activities and it's a fun trip.
So did you go to the mill? Have you been to the mill from primary school?
Yeah.
So which primary school are you at?
Listen.
Yeah, so we've had 4 or 5 Camden primary schools who've been to the mill. We think it's really important for you to get that opportunity to go in year 7. It's a great resource actually that other Camden schools do use. So what happens then is some people have been in year 7, in year 6 or in year 5, and then when you go in year 7, the first camp in year 7 is really about independence and routine and ritual, and that idea that when you arrive at the mill, the first place you go is what we call the memorial garden. And the memorial garden is where we have what might be assemblies at the mill, but it's an outdoor space. And the boys are introduced to the rituals of the bell, which means a certain thing, and why in the garden we need to show respect in that particular place. You're taken to the field that you camp in, and actually the camping field is all about responsibility, because that's where you develop those kind of attributes around making sure that you don't tread your muddy shoes all over your tent mate's sleeping bag, and all those other things that might happen the first time you go camping. So year 7 is really about using the bell to develop those attributes. Year 8 is about about excitement, new experiences and creativity, and that involves water sports. And then year 9 camp is particularly about resilience. And it is also about learning how to manage risk. And one of the things that we know about all teenagers, but particularly teenage boys, is that teenagers do become increasingly attracted to doing things that are risky, a bit outside of their comfort zone. We were all teenagers once, and that's not just teenagers here, it's teenagers globally. Well, what you have to do is learn how to take risks in a way that pays off. We can't say don't ever take any risks ever and then off you go and live an independent, successful, healthy, happy adult life. In year 9, you're off doing a 15-kilometre walk with a rucksack on your back. You're navigating yourself. You've got a map and a compass, and you'll see a teacher every so often. If you get lost, you need to find your way back. And they do, and they come back, and if they're lost for a bit too long, we go and find them, yeah? But actually that develops in you a real sense of independence. So in the same way as in, say, history or in maths, there'd be a progression from year 6 to year 7 to year 8 to year 9 to GCSE. We do the same with our up-to-date curriculum, yeah? Because if I said to you now, go and walk 10 miles with a big rucksack, I'll see you at such and such a point. That's a big challenge. Yeah, I probably wouldn't say that to you as someone in year 6, but by the time you're in year 9, we make sure you're ready to do that. Yeah, and we do that through our PE lessons where we teach orienteering and map skills on the heath, so that the boys are fully equipped to manage that kind of situation, because we want them to be able to have that level of independence and to rise to that challenge. Okay, I think there were some questions that parents had submitted. Mr. Altmann, I think you've looked at some of those. There were please feel free to put your hand up, ask, and we'll answer we'll perhaps do sort of 10 minutes of general questions, and then we're very happy if people would like to stay. So
there's just a couple that I will read out. When should we order our uniform, and where is the pre-assessment form in order to apply for the summer school? That's all on, that will be all come clear to you when you come for the meetings, so the interviews on the 13th and on the 10th, and you should be able to apply. I know that about 35 parents already have applied for the summer school, so you should be able to do that on the Applica app already, that you should have been sent a link to. If you haven't, please let us know. That's either online or here. There's another one which sort of ties in with what Ms. Jones was talking about. What happens if our child doesn't feel ready to attend the meal? Is that okay or not really acceptable? Well, I can answer that a little bit and then I'll pass over to you. They don't want to attend the meal. Well, we would hope that by the time they're in at William Ellis and halfway through the month of September, that we have given them enough confidence in order to be able to say, do you know what, I do want to go down, I do want to, because inevitably we're going to have some students who will say, oh, I don't really fancy it, it's the first time I've been away from home, etc., etc. It is only 2 nights, we've shortened it. It used to be a week long, so we have shortened it, and we know it's at the beginning, but it's all about building that confidence during the summer school or during the first few weeks of school at William Ellis in order to enable every student to be able to attend. I think we got a pretty high attendance. You know, it's not something that we want to force necessarily on anyone, but it is part of our curriculum. So it is something that you're learning whilst you're down there.
Yeah, I think we had 8 boys in last year's year 7 who didn't go, and that we gave them less notice than we're giving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apologies to parents of current year 7s. I think the other thing we'd say is that we do everything that we can to make sure that boys are able to access the mill, whatever their concerns might be. So we think really carefully about how they're grouped in their tents. We make sure that they understand that sense of routine that comes from school. I've talked about the assembly, about the camping, and there is a security in routine, right? So it's not kind of, we're going to the mill and you're gonna just, there's gonna be no structure for 2 or 3 days. We have students who go who have particular needs. So we make sure that there's a washing machine down there if we need to use that, clothes or anything else, then yeah, we can do that. We can support students and do it in a sensitive way. And we also make sure that their tutors, as far as possible, go with them. So they've got a member of staff who they already know quite well. Was there a follow-up question? Yeah.
People go in June?
With primary school?
Yeah.
Okay, so the, yeah.
I don't like going to year 7. Just have to go. If you don't want to go.
I think if you've been in year 6, the trip in year 7 will still be very different. The most important thing actually is that you go with your classmates. So Al talked about the rapidity with which his son made friends. For those 8 boys who, whatever reason, didn't go this year, we've really seen the impact on that, because the boys come back knowing each other so much better, and you do really lose out if you're not part of that in terms of kind of the friendship that you make. So I appreciate some people have been before, but it is very different in the same way that other things in year 7 are different to year 6. And from a kind of social interaction point of view, it's so valuable to go and really cement those friendships. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yes, I just come around here. Absolutely, just to reiterate that so Alfred shared a tent with some boys he didn't know at that point, and now he's made friends with them, and that was a really important part of the process. They might not like everything about the mill visit, but that social thing and bonding in the year, even if you're not the best mates for the rest of the year or your school time, it's still someone you know and you're comfortable with. You have to get comfortable with them because you're in a tent together. So I would definitely, from my point, it was a really good thing for him to do. So.
And some boys don't like year 7 camp as much as they then like year 8 camp or year 9 camp because of what they're doing, or because actually they do gradually increase. Were there other questions here, or have we got other presentations?
They were the only 2 that were pre-sent to us. So if we do have any other questions from any other.
It's wonderful to see how thorough the transition is. From an educational standpoint, there's a big change from primary and secondary and how they're taught. Is there any provision to so that prepare the children for that change and how they're going to be taught?
Do you mean in terms of what happens in the lessons?
Yes.
So in summer school, those, and on induction day, actually, those taster lessons have some elements of being in primary school, particularly being with kind of the same group of children, meeting in the playground, being taken into the classroom, some of those more kind of primary routines. But the characteristics of secondary education would be a subject specialist teacher, what the classrooms, DT rooms, science rooms look like, some of the routines of kind of sort of managing your own kind of book, ruler, pencil, so on and so forth. But induction day and some school absolutely take that kind of shift in learning into account. The other thing that's really important about particularly summer school is that the boys get access to the building without everyone else here. So they're able to learn where most of the rooms are, you turn left for English and right for science. And what that is probably the most visible difference between primary and secondary school is you have to find your way around the building, and there's a whole load of other people moving around the building at the same time. If you learn the building for 4 days, you're in a much better position than if you just arrived in September. And we talked before the evening started about how boys, 11-year-old boys and 16-year-old boys are quite different in their size, much more so than girls actually, and therefore that confidence in kind of movement is really, really important. Yeah.
Can I just say something about just add on to that as well? So I talk about the groupings that we spend a lot of time on the data that we get, not just the hard sort of SATs data that we get from primary schools, but also the sort of soft data, if you like, for want of a better term, where I'm pour over this data and the questionnaires that we ask you when you come into interviews as well, to make sure that the groups that they're put in, the tutor groups and their teaching groups, are such that, an example being, we might have 30 boys out of the 130 who come from primary schools on their own, right? Well, I wouldn't want any one of those boys to be in a classroom where he hasn't got another boy experiencing that same experience. So it's really important to get, like, let's say 5 of those students who are coming on their own in the same class. Do you see what I mean? In addition to that, it's about the academic, those high, low prior attainers, and looking at that data as well. And ensuring that boys have the opportunity to tell us about any friendship groups or any problems that they might have had in the past. So it's all about really trying to make sure that those classes that they're in, the forms and the classrooms are key, really. All right, great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the other change we've made actually is not having a separate Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 lunch. So in terms of that kind of experience of primary school, actually year 7 students would only spend lunchtime, break time with boys up to year 9 rather than the whole school. So it just eases that sense of going from the top year to the first year.
Right then, yeah.
You just mentioned that football, they win, is it year 7? Which year school they win?
There's lots of football at the moment. There's I think there's probably a team in each year group. I'm pretty sure there are.
It's about year 8.
I talked about year 8 in playing today, but it's a really successful. We're top of the league at the moment, the Camden League. So
That's what my son heard. And do you have any children in academy as well?
Oh yeah, lots. Yeah, lots of students who are also in academies, and sometimes we make adjustments to the school day. Not a massive adjustment, but if a boy is I'm thinking of a boy who was at the Tottenham Academy up in Enfield, because he had to get there at a certain point. At a certain time of day, we allowed him to leave a little bit earlier on the Tuesday, whatever it was, but then he caught up the work when he came back the next day. So yeah, we have boys in academies as well, absolutely.
And we also work with those academies, particularly, West Ham and Cheltenham, particularly impressive actually, in wanting the information about, actually, is he keeping up with his studies? Is he kind of, conducting himself in a proper way in school? So there's a definite back and forth. For the, it's a small group of boys, but we are in a boys' school. It's not insignificant in terms of their own learning. It's quite a big deal to be part of an academy system. And the football clubs, certainly in comparison to when Karl and I would have started, are very proactive in making sure that education isn't compromised.
Or is after school?
Football is after school. Basketball starts at 7 AM. Just in case we've got any keen basketballers in the room, they're stopped in the queue at the door. And I think handball and table tennis are lunchtime, and then there's actual tennis coaching that happens after school. Okay, we'll finish there. Thank you for your time. I just want to reflect on kind of one thing really, which is that you haven't come this evening and had a kind of timetable on the board of, you know, you'll have 7 English lessons and 8 maths lessons, and when you turn up, you must line up at this place, and some of the kind of concrete bread and butter information. You will get that information. There's another evening for parents after induction day on the 5th of July. You'll get it in writing. But your first experience of transition, which is tonight, should be about how coming to secondary school makes you feel. And I hope that what we've given you is that sense of when I come to William Ellis, either as a student or a parent, this is how I will feel. This will be my sense of who I am as a person. These will be some of my experiences. These are some of the kind of ideas and principles that sit behind what it means to move from primary to secondary. So there is a reason why we've chosen what we've spoken to you about tonight. And we also know that we've probably got more than one evening's worth of information to give you. And actually, it's important that you kind of absorb that over time. So those questions absolutely will be addressed, and we'll get to that as well, unfortunately, find out. So thank you for coming. Please do help yourselves to biscuits. They're no longer being guarded by a reception child, and we look forward to seeing you again at the start of May. Thank you very much. Thank you. So